Welcome back to Wild Woman Podcast. Today we're doing something new. I have my friend here, Mari, at the lovely Haven Spa, and we're gonna talk and sit and drink a little cafecita. Mari, thank you for saying yes.
I know, right?
So we're like comfy in our little PJs and like just chilling.
Winter vibes.
Yes, winter vibes, cozy vibes. Me and Mari went to the mountain a couple days ago, and it was so beautiful, and like so many messages came through for both of us. Mm-hmm. And it was such a much needed act of love.
Self-care. And I feel like that's gonna be the big one right now, that it's gonna be all about like just honestly self-care, loving on yourself. Don't be afraid to love on yourself, because we really do need it.
Absolutely. Yes. So just like briefly tell me, what did the mountain do for you?
It cleared. It really cleared. And honestly, even just being able to see the view of LA, the clouds, the greenery, we start to realize our perspective is so much smaller. We're just like small compared to everything that is out there. And that's the part that I think gave me that clarity of just like, breathe, it's gonna be okay, and we gotta just keep on keeping on.
It was so funny because immediately when we arrived, we both had to give an offering to the earth. Mm-hmm. So we both urinated.
Tea time.
Yeah. And it was like, she was like immediately like, you came to receive, you will receive. Give me your offering first. And it was beautiful because we were both like, we looked at each other, we're like,
I gotta go.
We're gonna go right. And it's
the trail up there.
Yeah. So don't ever feel embarrassed or bad to leave your offering, because your codes are going into the earth, and you're exchanging codes with the earth. Mm-hmm. And it's such an offering, and I'm telling you, she recycles, and it's soil and it's compost, so don't feel bad, guys.
No, yeah, and it's that or pee your pants.
Right? So Mari, let's start with a little breath. Mm-hmm. Let's land, and let's just put our hand on our heart, and let's just thank ourselves for being here today and saying yes. And we'll just open space with a little prayer. Thank you for bringing Mari here today, for saying yes, for being ready to voice and share her story and be vulnerable and authentic with the world. Spirit, we ask that you would come in and that you will allow what needs to be expressed, what needs to be felt, what needs to be heard, what needs to be seen, what needs to be known. For everyone listening and us here today, that it will be. And that you will guide this sacred conversation, that you will allow our true, authentic selves to show up and be vulnerable, and let it flow freely and beautifully, like the river and the mountain. Thank you.
I love that.
Thank you. So we're gonna go right in, girl. We're gonna go deep. Okay, so that's the intention of the podcast, is to be very vulnerable and just to really share stories for women out there that are listening who feel alone. So I'm gonna open with one of the core questions that has been for a lot of my interviews is, what is your greatest wound?
So for me, the greatest wound I feel was early on, and I don't think I really knew it was a wound until I started actually doing the self-healing work that I've been doing now. Okay. And for me, it was just kind of like that feeling of not being worthy, the feeling of abandonment, the feeling of you're not good enough to do something, or dreaming small instead of dreaming big, because we're just so used to, that's what we were raised with, that's what we're taught with. So that greatest wound was for sure just kind of one that is instilled, I guess, through being grown in an environment like that.
Programming.
From
a young age.
Yeah.
Yes, a lot of us women today are reprogramming. and we're relearning, we're reparenting ourselves, we're remothering ourselves, we're parenting in a new way, and we're just breaking those chains and those cycles and those patterns, and really, starting a new way and a new way. So,
and it starts with unlearning. So I like the relearning, but it starts with unlearning. So that's the part that I think is like the biggest one, that being able to share that more than anything was the part, like, it's like being gentle with ourselves, because we're literally unlearning everything that we were raised with, so that we can relearn and be gentle parenting, and the good, the bad, and the ugly.
Right, absolutely. Right, very ugly sometimes. My kids are like, Dragon Breath Mom is here, and I'm like, yes, I am. So please honor this moment right now, and don't let me get there. Or sometimes it's just needed.
Yes.
Like, Dragon Mom needs to come out, because, it's part of unlearning and learning. So we're learning how to like use our breath.
Yes, mine is the trying to gentle parent when you don't have. Is like learning to gentle parent is, and even the whole thing of like the gentle parenting is like just learning not to repeat a pattern, because oh my goodness, it tests the patience. I have teenagers. I've entered the teenager world.
So briefly, introduce yourself. I'm so sorry.
We got into it.
But so your name, your girls, not the names of your girls, but the ages of your girls, and where you're at.
So Mighty, from my Instagram or my thing is at Mindful Massage by Mighty, and also Mighty's Fantastic Face Painting, but soon to be different in I think I haven't really trickled into the TikTok world, but Las Manos de Mighty for sure, because it's all been just healing through my hands. And a lot of it is we don't realize how much energy we have in these beautiful tools. And I am a mama to girls, girl mom life, and my girls are 14, 15, and 18. And so just learning to, I think for me, I was blessed with the girls. I had wanted boys, but then when you realize that you have the complete opposite of what you, and that's what it is. Sometimes it's not what you want, it's what you're given. And for me, it does. It trails into, I guess that now kind of trickles into why I'm here, because it's learning how to, heal the woman wounds, the sister wounds, the mom wounds, the woman wound, if I said it again, because that's the big one that more than anything, we create life. Yeah, we create life. And because of that, it's just been like a lot of those areas that we don't realize we need to heal, because it's where our creativity comes in. That's your life force. That's where, and it took me a long time to realize that too. But it's never too late. So that's the part too. Like, it's like, absolutely, there's no timing in this. At the end of the day, it's like everybody's timing is in this way of like a wavelength. Everyone is going to be different. And that's the
thank you for saying that beautiful piece of medicine, and so much wisdom in that. The timing, and it's never too late. There's so much wisdom in that, and thank you for reminding everyone of that, because that's very important. So let's go deeper into the mother wound, the sister wound. What was one of the biggest ones for you that you had to come out and heal from?
The comparisons, and even to this day, that's why I said there's never a time of like it's gonna be continuous. But for me, it was just like a lot of that comparison feelings. I am the oldest of 6, so when there's 4 women in our home, and being raised with all women, even the men in our family are very like, who are the main ones. It's my mom and my sisters, me, and then trickling into my daughters, my niece, my nephews. So we're pretty much like the opposite. So it's like my nieces and my nephews are kind of like our little versions of us now. So that's where it's kind of like more than anything trickled down to learning how to not compare and be more of an embracing, because I feel like in the way that this world is, it's kind of programming us to be at competition with each other or at, comparison. And for sure, that's been like a major one, that learning to heal that part, sharing that with, our future generations. Because, we realize again how we come into the world not healing other parts, and we go into life, learning what we do and go from there.
Yeah, absolutely. Where do you feel of your greatest wound? What is it that you're relearning, you're unlearning, you're healing, how did that affect you?
For me, just kind of more than anything, giving myself that space and learning to begin with my self-love.
Okay.
Because that one was for sure the big one that, not to say that it wasn't given, it was just sometimes the way that our parents learn how to give love, it's a different way of, because they don't know what they don't know, or it's a repetitive pattern and things like that. So it started with that. It started with learning to seek what was love for myself, and how do I want to present it in my life with those around me.
What did you grow up with? Like, what was your household like?
It was a little bit of everything. So for sure it was, chaotic in its sense that we had, it was a step-parent, a stepdad, and my mom. And so even though, like, just kind of going from there, I'm breaking.
It's okay. It's okay. Let it go.
Yeah. But just kind of going from there. It was put in the system at a very young age. Then going back to my home and just kind of learning from that. It was like kind of like seeking validation, seeking, paternal love, or seeking maternal love. But at the same time, knowing that everybody was kind of going through their own thing.
Mm-hmm.
But it's taken me a time to be able to heal that part, because I told myself I wanted to, once I had my daughters, that I didn't want to repeat that pattern.
Right. Yeah. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
And how did you start to find and discover, like, I need healing and I need to heal, and how did you start your healing journey?
For me, it was definitely when I became a single mom. But
really?
For sure it was, having to go through that space of, the marriage, and going through everything that I went through, and kind of having to start again from scratch, telling myself that I needed to do something different. I wanted something better. I was just very in the flow, in the sense of, like, just kind of on auto tune, and when I realized that, you have daughters, you want to make sure that when they grow up, they, know how to find the partner that they deserve, learning to have that family that they deserve. And that was the journey. That was where it kind of started. I felt like I didn't have where to start, or a sense of, like, am I worthy to even, like, be able to do this on my own? And then looking back, it's been 14 years, and so much has happened. And sometimes I feel like I don't even give myself the credit that I know I have come to really see through, being able to say, yes, that one day, and, giving myself time to heal from childhood, giving myself time to heal from a marriage that didn't serve me, giving myself time to find myself, and still kind of finding myself.
Right.
And these 39 years that I have, but it's an amazing thing. And I feel like even just right now that I said 39, it goes to tell me that there's so much to still go ahead from here.
Yeah.
And usually, like our first years of our life is really just kind of the learning.
Yeah.
The life.
So true.
You live the life so that once you get into like your 40s, your 50s, you're just like, I feel like a lot of us go into that the comparison, the imposter syndrome, the should've, could've, would've's of our lives, and then it goes into like, wow, I did a lot. We're just changing the perspective of like a lot of that we went through goes to show us that we can grow from it.
The fact that you wanted to be a better mom and raise your girls differently, that's breaking chains, that's breaking cycles, patterns, and that right there in itself is like more than half of the work. Yes. Like some people don't even get to the, like you said, the perspective, the perception of, oh, there needs to be change. Some just go the whole life and grow old and sometimes die like that. So I feel so grateful that although I'm 40, I still feel like I accomplished so much because of the fact that I just said no and yes to this and removing people from my life. And I feel like, I feel so much lighter.
You feel lighter. And that's when they say, like, you feel like years younger. You feel like heavy weight lifted.
You even look different in your face.
Exactly. And they do say, that's the way they say, like, stress is that one main factor, and also like, how we go about in our lives. And I feel like the biggest one has been also like just breath work and that self-care and that self-love. So again, that's where it kind of like goes into that, like once I started seeing what I wanted my life to be, and not like woe is me, or because I get those times where I'm like, oh my gosh, we get it, what's going on. But then we realize we've come a long way. If I were to go back and see the 23 or 27-year-old version of myself, sitting down, not knowing like what to do after, the whole incident with like just having the divorce was a big one. Thankfully, it turned me into a very strong woman that I didn't think I had the strength to see. So going back into like that time and place, I literally pick her up, put my hand on her chin, and I'd be like, hey girl, we're gonna do this.
I love that.
We're gonna do this.
I love that. And that's what my therapist tells me. She's like, we just have to go back to every single year, every single moment. Speak love into her, tell her she's safe, bring her back to who you are now, because she doesn't know. She thinks she's still over there in that safe little corner, unsafe little corner. Same thing's happening.
Yeah, and that's just one, because it's like, again, there's so many different versions of it. Going into that teenage version of yourself. That's why when I say it's a very tough age, but it's also like learning how to parent myself how I would have wanted to be seen, how I would have wanted my mom to have given me that with the words of wisdom, or to be my biggest supporter, or things like that. I feel like I try my best to do that for my girls, probably to the point where I'm like, they're like, Mom, stop. But it's just it's learning how to reparent teenage Maddie, learning how to reparent 9-year-old Maddie, so it's like kind of even going towards all the way to that. It's just those stages in your life where it's just like major impacts, major shifts. And as I continue to do this self-healing path and this self-healing journey, and it's like the stages of grief. It's like, it's not going to be a linear process. It's going to be, you're going to have your moments of negotiating, you're gonna have your moments of like anger and frustration, you're gonna have your moments of like, okay, acceptance, I got this. Something comes up, shifts again, your moment of like grief. And so it's a learning to be very understanding and patient with that part, because it's life. And that's the part more than anything that I realized it's helped me. That I know I probably got off topic, but it was just like that was kind of
exactly
like
where we needed
helped
to go.
me go into that part.
Thank
because
you.
It's been just kind of learning how to understand that yes, healing is not linear.
Yeah.
And if I can say that too again, it's just like it's everybody's paths are so different. On what I love too is when we have those moments where you find someone that has, you know, like gone through the same or similar, because we all, even though are so distant in places, someone has that similar story.
Oh my gosh,
someone
yes,
has that
met.
moment of sharing. You
That
get
is
into
true.
community, you get into like, wow, there really is a family out there that can help you, you know, bring yourself back to
Yeah.
who you are,
Yeah.
or even show you what you've had hidden all along. So that part too, it's
Really?
just
Right.
a big one.
Yeah, and it's so funny because that's how we met. We met at both saying yes to an event.
Yes.
We met at the event. We ended up talking about how I got out of an unhealthy relationship, got out of my mom's house, got my own place, and now Mari has the blessing and the miracle of having her own place.
Yes.
She also just got out of her mom's house for 3 girls, and they are just thriving. And it came like a miracle for her because she was like, it was the day, a moment that she just said, I need to look for something, and something came to her that she can afford, and it was like a beautiful space for her and her girls. And I say that to everyone out there listening is, when you really are ready for something, the puzzle
will be there,
the blessings and the pieces will fall into place. So just trust.
Because that's what it was too. And then I want to say, like, even thank you for reminding me of that, because it goes to show that I had never even thought of that in the sense of like it was happening right then and there, but because I was in that moment of like, I'm in it, you don't get to see the outside perspective of it until you're just like, wow, like you did that. Like how? And it was crazy because I've you know, going back into an environment and realizing like fear-based mentalities or you know, comparison mentalities, scarcity mentalities were really kind of holding me back in that sense.
The money wounds too from our generation.
Yes, and then just also realizing that at times where I felt like I was my problem, I was also my solution. And I thank an amazing friend that shared that with me, because
I like that.
Sometimes it is scary to look in the mirror and be like, hey, get it together, girl. We're gonna do this. Don't be afraid, because it's just kind of like those versions. Like for me, it was always like that version of that you know, victim, that sadness, that, you know, woe is me. And then there's that other version where it's just like, no, like what you're dreaming of can happen. You just gotta really do it. And it's like from point A to point B, it really does go to show that it starts with just saying yeah and being able to be continuous in that journey. We're gonna have bumps, we're gonna fall off the wagon, we're gonna jump back on. And I think that's where it was, where I'm just like, wow, I have been able to finally, you know, provide a home, a little space for me and my girls. I said yes to, you know, being a kind of like a 9-to-5 shift, chased a dream, chased I feel like more than anything, a journey, an ancestral journey, because getting into massage during the time that I went into it, that was like, wow, I didn't realize that kind of like took me that, getting creative again with my art and stuff like that. So it was just kind of like the moment that I started saying yes to healing, I started bringing back like, you know, there she is, little Mari, drawing her paintings, or, you know, getting creative with it. And it was just kind of like learning that is incorporating that back into my life, because we forget to have like those childlike moments, those creative moments, because you know, it's crazy right now. And so you know, there's that uncertainty, but at the same time, it's like, I can honestly say I said yes to spending more time with myself, spending more time with my daughters, being able to see the blessings in the little things, just by shifting, just by moving. Because movement is gonna be that big one. It's one thing to like sit on it and say it and write it, and then once we start getting those little moments of putting it into action,
Yeah.
it's yeah.
So just to briefly like summarize what Monty's talking about for those that don't know is she was at a 9 to 5. She's not anymore. She has a more open schedule to be more time with her girls doing massage. And then she just started to launch her henna. She's already been booked like I don't know how many times. I booked her. Joan booked her twice. One of our teachers, our common teachers, booked her twice. You just like, and it was just by saying like I want to do something that I want to do, and then look at how the blessing and the miracle comes in of like, okay, and you already got booked and you got booked and now you have income coming in from a second source of income, other than just your massaging, and then now you're launching your second Manos by Mari. Like, what is happening? And it's exactly what she's saying is that when we say yes to our dreams, our passions, and our desires, like something will come in and make a way for us. You know, something will come in and assist us and help us and get those bookings and get those clients and be free from a 9 to 5, because it happened to me too, and I know that it's just so possible, and it's possible for all of us. So just start thinking about, you know, what is it that you want your life to look like, and you can create that. It is so true.
Oh yeah. And to give yourself that opportunity, because it's not,
and we're both single moms, and we're both paying rent on our own, and we neither of us have a 9 to 5.
And so
this is like the miracle of following our dreams and healing.
Yes. And also just kind of being in that sense, in that space of like, be present in the moment of it, you know. And it's learning to just go with it, go with the flow with it, give it love, give it nurture, give it, you know, as much of yourself, because it is, for me, I realized, such a healing tool more than anything, to be able to be like, you know what, it's different than what most of us go with, but it's also like just giving that chance, because it's such a game changer. Honestly, it's such a game changer. Even if it's just kind of like saying yes to baby steps, saying yes to
our mom night, our mom nights, our dancing mom nights. We go out and shake it and like dance, because it's movement is so like, movement is sacred, and it's not like we're not going out and getting drunk and like all this stuff. We're just going out, having a good time, and dancing to music that we love. And that's
where the movement part, that's why I said it's like when we have that stuck, those feelings of stuck. Someone had said it to me, and it was a beautiful thing, where it's like we have so many things coming at us that it's like you don't know which one to kind of go with. That we get into like that stuck sensation where it's like, okay, what do we do then? Go to the gym, write a book, you know, move and dance. Like, you're moving. And so I think that's the part too that I realized, like, wow, it makes sense.
Was it you in the mountain the other day that said this about or somebody just someone recently told me this on our moon dance on Saturday. When you feel stuck and can't decide, is because you have so many ideas and you can't choose which one. So just go with one.
Yes.
Because it's almost like a trial and error. You know, like, okay, I have this business idea and I'm going to try it. If it doesn't work, then it's okay. Come back to the drawing board.
Exactly.
And also learning to create from a space of honoring our cycles.
Exactly.
That's the game changer. I see a lot of my teachers, all of my teachers that are successful and abundant, they're creating from a space of following their cycle. That is the one thing that I see that they have in common.
Because even just going into that, for me, it was a moment of like, be embarrassed of it. Don't be embarrassed of it. It's just like, that's natural. That's, you know, it was a sense of like, so when I got to experience that with my girls, I was just like, okay, I'm going to be doing it in like the most beautiful way. And so just kind of giving them that sense of love and nurture, because that's just kind of like, again, where it goes to the part of creating. We get into this sense of you're supposed to be hiding, but it's like, no, that's when you should be working out or something like that.
Tending to yourself.
Something light, be gentle with yourself, trust your body, you know,
Rest,
breathe. And it's pretty much in the sense like channeling your inner self and healing that inner self, because that's where it's going to be like the most vulnerable. What happens when we have it? We get emotional, we get, you know, hard. It makes sense why it's like, oh my gosh, she's coming. So it's just kind of like knowing that trusting it and being gentle with it. And if you have those days where you just want to sit and cover yourself with a blanket, warm pad, do nothing, trust it.
Trust it, exactly.
Yes, if you want to go up and go for a hike, go for a hug, connect with nature, doing a little bit of all of that, like, do it.
Trust it. I love that. And in that is when we have those moments with self, in a bath, with sipping tea, you know, tending to ourselves, even laying in a bed with the cover is an act of self-love. And then that is the opening to activating and strengthening our intuition. So I feel like it's so beautiful that if the more we go inward and tend to ourselves and mother ourselves and nurture ourselves and spend moments with self, you're going to start noticing things are going to start shifting in your life. You're going to start having ideas that are going to work and be successful. And this is why the moments with self is where we create from and where we get inspiration from. And we actually start living our dream because we're listening to the messages that are coming in.
And more than anything, and so for me, I think that's why it's been a very important thing to, at least, I guess that's the beauty of California, you know, you want to go to the ocean, you want to go to the mountains, go to the mountains, the desert and valleys, but at the same time, it's also just like that plant medicine, you know, like right now you said bath, I was thinking those showers with the eucalyptus bundle and just kind of sit in it and enjoy it and give yourself that love, that self-care. So that's
so we can have a waterfall in our shower.
Yes.
Girls, go get a eucalyptus plant. I've seen that. They tie it on the shower head and it's just like, it just steams up the room and it's just
lavender, eucalyptus, and it's just because it's that's why for me it's like the therapist and the massage therapist and aromatherapy. It's just kind of like, you know, essential oils. It's that plant medicine. It's kind of like you know, for me I feel like it just connects like all those sensory motors. You know, if you need to cry it out. If you need to you know, just sit in the sun and take in that vitamin D, and so it's just kind of like all of that. It is.
What is your favorite act of self-love?
Mine is definitely going to the ocean, going to the beach. I love it. I'm such a beach girl, and I feel like that's why it's you know, just kind of going, connecting, disconnecting. I think more than anything, because once we do that and just sit in, even if it's like I always say, a 5-minute timer, silence for 5 minutes timer, and just take it in, because I feel like it's for me, I feel like that's my reset button for sure. That, you know, just kind of like that is gonna, whatever's happening right now, it's gonna stay over there. Give yourself those 5 minutes, come back, because it's what that saying of like filling your cup or filling others from an empty cup. It struck hard for me, because in the sense of like, wow, growing up it was the opposite for me. It was just like, you have to serve in that sense. And it's just or not even serve, because now I do service in a different way, but I do it from a way of like more fulfilling, more of like, I'm serving myself so that I can be able to be of service.
I love that. Thank you. So let's just go back a little bit, backtrack, but let's summarize. Let's do like a timeline if we can. And timelines do not matter, but let's get an idea of where you were 5 years ago and how you came into launching 2 businesses and having your own place. So let's go back. Let's
5 years. That's COVID area.
I know, right? Because that's when it really started for a lot of us.
It really was. I feel like that was a Kickstarter for a lot of people. You know, in the sense of like that.
We lost our jobs. We got pushed out.
It was like, if you were waiting for the moment, you were gonna get forced out, or you were gonna go with it, go with the flow. Cause yeah, I thought about it too. I was like, oh my gosh, I was in a space where I loved what I did, and I'm pretty sure I could have kept going with it. But work wise, and the sense of like I was able to go to school and pursue something in me. Want to say that because I was already kind of going through that healing path of me and finding out that I had that massage therapy or like the soalora life
Yes.
in through both my paternal and maternal areas.
So it's calling you.
It was. I was just
so
like,
what did you do before?
I was in like a customer service,
Okay.
retail thumb,
Okay.
that fast paced life.
Yes.
It really is.
The
like
hamster
that
wheel.
Hamster wheel, that fast paced life that not being able to spend time with my kids and things like that. So the mom guilt was real, but it was just in the sense of like, wow, I'm gonna have teenagers in a couple of years, and do I want to be able to spend time with them a little bit more? And more than anything, thankfully it has worked out, and I've been amazed to see that I have been able to have those moments, at least while I have them right now, because when they say your kids are borrowed, they really are. They really are.
You already have one out of the house.
I have one left the nest. That one was a tough transition, really? But it was also like, wow, I had prepared her for that, and I felt so honored to have been able to be like, okay, I'm gonna be able to like let her go and do her thing and know that she's gonna be okay. And as with my other ones too, but it is like they're your teachers as well, kind of thing.
Oh my God,
because it had made me see how brave I could see myself be, at that age, if I had had that or something like that. But,
and what a blessing to see them in their power, confident of. You already broke that chain of the scarcity.
Oh, yeah.
You already broke that chain of the habits, of the cycle. Look at them.
Yeah.
That's the proof of their confidence and independence and not feeling like, oh, I have to stay at home and all this stuff.
Yeah. And again, that 5-year span, it was a lot of like...
So how'd you leave your job? What happened?
Coming back, leaving, coming back. I was able to have the opportunity to... even the journey to being a massage therapist was crazy. Like, I had knee surgery.
Right.
I removed through a freaking crazy chain of events. Had a meniscus tear that caused me to get during the time that I was in school surgery. So I got to learn through my own healing.
Right.
The parts of the body and how to apply it to my practice and things like that. Just being able to, as I was learning, at the same time also realizing like, okay, I am loving what I'm seeing, what I'm doing, and even being thankfully having amazing people that were like, okay, just keep going. Because there was moments where I was like, no, like maybe it's better if I just stay. They're like, no, you need to go and keep going, and trust yourself that this is where it's gonna lead you. And so had the amazing opportunity to go and do sports therapy while I transitioned out of the 9 to 5. And then so that's kind of like where it happened, 2022. So then here comes 2023, 2024. I start having the vision of like, like I would love to be of service in people's homes, and do like the mobile part of it, and being able to still have that massage, because I do massage envy also or something like that, and then I also do others mobile massages and stuff like that independently. And so just being able to use those tools and go to learning different techniques and different modalities. So it didn't stop just at graduating. It's been a continuous ride. So it's like transitioning out slowly. Gotcha. Been being patient with myself with the transition of it being out, so because it's scary, it's real. It's like, oh my gosh, how are we gonna make it now, or how are we gonna do all these things? But just being able to trust, I think more than anything has been the biggest one. Like just kind of like trusting that once you give yourself that opportunity of like, wow, you're meant for something amazing. Let's go ahead and see where it goes, where it takes you. And again, it's not to say that there's no bumps and trials and tribulations. On the contrary, like that's where it's gonna come at the most.
Right.
As any person that has their own thing knows and sees. But it's also just kind of like seeing how amazing that is, that you are able to do something like that. And so here we are now. So we're still kind of like, into it.
Creating your dream job, your dream life.
Yes.
Heaven on earth is real.
Yes.
And creating that.
Yeah. And even coming back to something that you thought you weren't going to do again. So, and that's where I'm kind of like bringing back at the same time that I was doing the massage, I was trying to start up the face painting and the henna.
Okay.
But, again, COVID had hit and I was like, I had to put a stop to it.
Yeah.
So that one was a little, my creative outlet that I kind of was like, I want to see if I can, make this into something. But yeah, again, it was a little bit of a pause, but did not realize that it was going to come back into my life.
Really?
And, I was super honored.
Dude, you've been booked for henna parties, even a belly henna for pregnant mommies, right?
Yes, prenatals, and that's why I was just like, sometimes I wonder, like, how did I bring this into existence? Like, wow, but then it was just kind of realizing, like, it was because even though I was scared, I was doing it anyway.
Right.
So that's the part where even that,
Ooh,
just like that,
that,
feel the fear and do it anyway, because it is. It goes to show like this is real. Like we are gonna have those moments of fear. We're gonna have those moments of freeze, and just having that extended hand, whether it's in the sense of a kind word or if it's in the sense of like, oh my gosh, you do that, share it. And I was like, oh, okay. So it's things like that. Yeah.
I'm so proud of you for pushing through the fear.
Yeah. And I feel like it has given me such an amazing view in the sense of like keep it flowing and sharing, because who's to say that this doesn't inspire or spark something in someone that has felt like they're not where they're supposed to be, or because I know that even I've felt it sometimes. And so that's why the fact that we even got to connect and go into the mountains and go into nature and be like, okay,
the way it all happened that day,
the way it all happened was like, wow.
I know. We were both on the same street in the same city. She texted me and I was like, I'm on this street. She's like, I'm on that street. I'm like, let's go have breakfast and let's go to the mountain because I need it. And she's like, I'm down.
Yes.
And I was like, oh my God, it was just the timing.
Yeah. And here we are. And that's the part I was just like, okay, this is where just giving that yes, giving that opportunity and saying yes to yourself and whatever it is, because I feel like we forget where creativity comes from, because everybody has it. I feel like even the people that say that they don't have it, you have it. It's just you have to find it.
And everyone has a gift. Yes.
Everyone. I've even learned to kind of like be confident in doing things like, using your voice and healing with your voice and stuff like that. So it's just been, again, that therapy that you feel like we're trying to search elsewhere when it's like really in here. Like you just gotta tap into it. You gotta give into the sense of like, are you ready to heal that part? It's okay if you're not, but when you're ready, open arms, here you are. And it's just giving yourself that chance.
I love it. I heard you say 3 key points, and it's almost like a roadmap for those that want to start their own business and venture on and discover. One of them you said was move through the fear, do it anyway, even if you're afraid, trust, and what would be the third one?
Be open. Be open. Because I feel like when we are open to that part of the healing, that's where the beauty starts.
Yes.
And be also open to the part that you feel like it's not okay, you're like it's stuck, or you don't want to be open to that. But then it goes to show you there's such beauty in healing those parts of us, because we in some way, shape, or form have had some type of regressions or some type of trauma, and we put it in the back of our minds, but then realize it comes up in a different form, like physical ailments, or emotional, or something in your bodies,
triggers.
Right. So just being able to give yourself that time to heal, give yourself that space, gentle, patience.
Yes, those are also.
So I know I said more than three, but it's because it's all combined into one.
Yes,
Yeah.
gentle, patience. I love that.
Yeah.
That is so. You have like literally gave us so much inspiration and so much medicine and so much wisdom on how you came along from 5 years ago, 9 to 5, now launching 2 independent businesses, still, part-time at Massage Envy, but having your own place now. Like, this is just so much
baby projects, and it starts with baby projects, like just kind of like it could, turn into something more amazing, because it also community. I've been inspired by amazing women, and I've been inspired by you and so many other women that I've met in my life that have given me that strength. So that community too is like being able to be embraced and embrace, and so
I love
that's the part too, where it's kind of
to
like
receive and to give and exchange.
Yes, and exchange, and love and flow, and it's just like more than anything, it's that part, because it goes to show that behind every amazing woman, there's also like a community of more amazing women, and so it's just,
and other women that have done it, that can give us that push and that inspiration and that motivation. Like, oh my God, look at where she was and where she's at now.
Oh yeah.
And it just gives me so much motivation to hear your story and to see you and to know, like, okay, just keep going, just keep going with the dreams, with the visions, with the pushing through the fear, and
because then even your little ones can feel inspired about it too. Like I have little small business women over here too that I'm just like, wow, like because it's just kind of like seeing that you can break that mentality, or like that scarcity. And I was like, wow, like who would have thought that even through my own transition, and even my own like feelings of like, oh my God, I'm messing up, because we get into like that parent mentality of like, we're not servicing our kids, but it's like, no, they see it. They're like I feel like, thankfully, they're like my biggest little cheerleaders, and it's like supporters, and it's like motivators, and a little bit of everything.
What was the one that your daughter told you about? Remember what you told me in the mountain? Oh, what did she tell you about? You're afraid to make money or something?
I know. It's like, you're afraid of making money? I was like, oh my gosh. Because we get into that mentality of like, oh my gosh, because I'm bad at math, I'm not gonna know how to do this, or who am I to think that I can do a business? And, but the thing is, it's like, if you give yourself that opportunity, who's to say you don't have an amazing friend, or amazing, like how we were saying right now, investor, or sponsor, or mentor, and that can kind of guide you through that. And so thankfully I've been blessed to have amazing like people that I've been able to like learn from and stuff like that. And to, as I go, also again, be kind with myself, because it's not gonna look like someone's, it's gonna look way different, but it's because it's your own, and it's turning into something else, but we don't really realize. And I'm such a like metaphor girl, so it's like, that caterpillar, she goes through that transition, but we don't realize that in that chrysalis moment, she's going through that stuff, she's getting heavy, and then it's and if you actually Google it, it shows you that they go through like a painful moment in that chrysalis, and emerge into like this beautiful butterfly that we're just like, how did that, I love butterflies, and so it's just like, you get to see the cocooning part of it, and it's a stage show. So if even life itself gives us those examples, in nature and stuff like that, everything that people, that the transitions go through, it's the same as humans.
Oh my God, yes. Thank you for that example.
Yeah.
So we have a lot of butterflies. I hope we're being inspired out there and in your cocoon and your chrysalis phase and all phases and even in the pain to know that miracles are real and you can create your dream life, your dream job, and attract the people that you need in those times, in those moments, in those transitions. So don't give up. Everyone out there, don't give up. So what is something that little Madi always wanted to do?
Ooh,
your little girl. What is your little girl? What is like a dream or something your little girl always wanted to do?
Oh my goodness, dance. Dance. I remember it was just like, being like little interpretive dancing in my room or something like that, or just kind of going with the music, with the flow. I'm getting there. So that's why I said, I was like, you're kind of like relearning yourself. You're kind of like redoing it when we did salsa night. So I was just like, and then again, start small. You know, who's to say we don't get on that dance floor next time and actually dance?
Right? So you just said yes to going, and then she was like, the next time I'm going to have the courage to say yes to someone that asked me to dance.
Or even as when I was coming in to the drive, I was like, why not just go and dance right there? You don't have to wait for nobody to do it. Just go out there on the dance floor and just dance. Yes. And again, so that's what it is. It's like kind of like, I feel like my little childhood Madi is like learning to be playful with it again. Because I feel like we take ourselves so seriously sometimes, but it's only because it's just all that outside chatter, all that outside motion and movement that we forget that we're naturally innate to do these things, and we are meant to move. And so I think that's again going into that part, like whether it's again using your voice or movements or just doing something.
Soaking up the sun, taking a walk. Yes. Even being at home, just sipping a cup of tea, anything at home, lighting a candle.
Oh, yeah.
There's so much we could do for ourselves and make those 5 minutes, the baby steps, and then it gradually gets like, more than 5 minutes or more often during the week. And that's where the magic happens, you guys. So spend more time with self.
Yes.
Make it intentional, light a candle, make a cup of tea. In your bath, visualize the things that you're feeling yucky about, washing down the drain. Like, be very intentional when you're in the sun. Even walking to your car. You 1 minute walk to your car. Visualize the sun burning and cleansing.
Heating
it up. Or whatever it is that you're feeling that you want to let go or that you want to infuse. The sun is such a powerful tool.
Oh, yeah.
The sun is such a powerful tool. So anytime you're on the sun, you look at that sun and you say something to it.
How do plants grow?
Yeah.
With the sun. That's just us. We gotta be our little plants.
We have tools everywhere outside at our fingertips, with the water, with the soil, with the sun, the wind, the beach, everything. So just a beautiful reminder. And go ahead and share your handle. And your 2 or 3 services.
Yes.
So go ahead and just give your offerings.
Yes. So I love to create with henna, with body paint, face painting. Again, now learning to get into the massage therapy part. Hopefully, one of my biggest dreams is to kind of get into like learning with actual like sobador from internationals and stuff like that. Like getting back into my culture and learning how to integrate both. So like getting that therapy that you've learned. From going to school and stuff like that, while also learning the experience part, because I feel like that does mesh together. So
and the ancient modalities.
Yes, modalities. We've been doing this for long before we've even been here. So the fact that there was something in there to calling me to do that, I was like, okay, I'm trusting we're doing. So
healing with the hands and more pain. That's what our ancestors did.
So thankfully, for as long as God's giving me this gift to do this with my hands, I'm totally gonna do it. So
I love it. Okay, so if you have any birthday parties, baby showers,
girls' night out,
anything with henna on the tummy or kids for the face or the hands, book her, call her, hit her up on Instagram, or even a massage. She does mobile massage. So go ahead and give your handle.
Yes, it's Mindful Massage by Madi.
And Madi is Mari.
Mari, yes. And then it's Madi fantastic face painting. So hope to connect with you guys there, and thank you again for having me here and for letting me share with you guys.
Thank you. I love you so much. Thank you for saying yes and inspiring other women to say yes.
Yes.
So we're gonna go ahead and close, and thank you guys for joining us and being on our first in person on the couch.
Yes, I know.